welcome back to Pure Lottie. So today's video is the last video of my declutter. So if you want to see what I'm decluttering today, then make sure you keep watching. And if you like today's video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below because it really helps me out. And if you're new, don't forget to join my family. Hit that subscribe button and change that notification bell to all so you don't miss any of my future videos. Alright, let's jump in. So this first category here is all of my creative makeup. So I have already quickly gone through some of this. This is all of like my little diamantes and like loose glitter and stickers and stuff, and I've just popped it in a Ziploc bag just so it is all together and doesn't get messy in my drawers. I do have this bunch of like nail sort of brushes and everything for my creative makeup, and then this little like wax thing to pick up these little gems, and these I actually got for my nails as well, but I'm going to attempt to use them on my face as well, so I'm definitely keeping all of those. Next up, I've got this Split Cake water based liner or water activated liner. I really don't like it, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to declutter it. The next lot that I have here, I've got a lot of these in bags. Now, this bag here was my original bag full of paints. Now, I do not like any of these, so I'm going to declutter the whole lot. These ones here are just cheapy body paints, and they really don't look good on. They're very patchy, they're very liquidy, so I'm going to declutter these ones. I've got this SFX white base matte powder. I don't like this powder either. It's super powdery. If I'm going to set something, I tend to just use my own setting powder. And then after that, the rest of the things in here are these colour paint wheels, and I cannot make these work. I do not know what I've done wrong with them, but these are patchy, they're thick, then they're not blending nicely, then the pigment's really crappy on it as well, so I really don't like it, so I'm going to get rid of all of these. And instead, I now have my Colourful Language palette from Centre of Attention Makeup Artistry. This is Courtney Lee Holland's palette, and this is hands down the best paint that I have ever used. Now, I did just place an order because she has started selling some lashes from Model Rock, and I also ordered a new white paint because I have already used a third of my white paint. And she had a sale going for her members, so I just wanted to stock up on that so when I run out I have enough. Now, this is a palette that you can pop these out of and replace the actual little thing there, rather than having to replace the whole palette. Now, she does do all the colours as well in the big sizes, so if you paint your body as well, that would be good, but I'm hands down keeping this best palette that I have ever used for my creative and paint work. Next up, we'll go into this little bag here. I'm going to keep all of these in this bag and I won't show you every single thing, but basically this is my bag of glitters. So this has some, you know, a loose glitter, it's got like love heart glitters, it's got star glitters, it's got chunky glitters. I have these glitters here where they're finely milled. This is literally just any glitter you can think of that I would need a glitter glue. I have them all in this bag here. Now, all of these are super messy and you do need a glitter glue with them, but they are good for me to use when I'm doing my creative looks, so I will be keeping all of these. So the last lot for this category is all of my liquid eyeshadows. So I'm going to be a bit brutal with these and I'm going to get rid of a lot of them. I'm going to keep this Rare Beauty one. This is in the shade Nearly Berry. So my mother-in-law got this one and she just didn't like the shade on her skin tone. So I'm going to give this one a go, but I haven't tried it yet. I then also have these three from Senegence, and I'm going to keep these ones as well. I have not had a chance to really play with the Senegence ones. This e.l.f. green one, it's a metallic liquid eyeshadow. I really like it. I got this at Christmas time, so I'm going to keep that too. These ones here are all from Focalure, and they are starting to dry out now, and I really don't reach for them, so I'm going to get rid of them. These are in the shades Amethyst Crush, Ocean Light, and Diamonds. So yeah, I'm going to declutter these ones. Next up, I have these L'Oreal eye paints. So this is in a more like bronzy colour, and then the silver. So we've got Rude Boy and then Diamonds, and I never reach for these either, so I'm going to declutter them. Next up is these Pixie ones, and these ones have unfortunately dried out. They were very nice. I've got Passion Light and Sun Ray, but yeah, they have gone very, very dry and chunky now, so unfortunately I'm going to have to declutter them. Next one I have is from Lorella, and this is in the shade Goals, and I do actually really like this one, and it is still in good condition. It just creases on me, but I think it would look really nice as like a glitter liner, so I'm going to keep it for that. And then lucky last is this Tarte one in Sea Glass, and again this one creases on me if I try and use it as a full eyeshadow, but I think it would be really nice for like a glitter liner, so I'm going to keep that as well. So this is all I'm keeping out of my liquid eyeshadows. Okay, so next up I have these 5 palettes. Now, these ones I'm going to keep all of them, but I'll quickly show you them. I am actually going to keep these ones for my creative looks, and I will tell you why as I go through them. So the first one I've got is this little Beauty Bay Bright Mattes palette. It's just a small little colourful one. I haven't had a chance to use this one, but I have used the bigger version of it, which is this one here, and again it is from Beauty Bay Brights, and I have used this a little bit. The formula in this isn't 100% perfect, but it is still a really nice formula, and I think this would be like a perfect palette for when I am doing creative looks for all the colours of the rainbows. And I like that it was more of a affordable one, so if I mess up the palette at all, then I'm not going to be too stressed about it, so I'm going to keep that one as well. These next 3 here are all controversial palettes. I brought these before any of this stuff happened. If anybody wants to leave a rude comment, please go and leave that on someone else's channel. This isn't the channel for it. I paid for these pre everything going on, and I do not use these products on my channel now, purely because I do not want the drama associated with it. But I have to say that the products are still nice, and I already spent my money and I'm not going to waste them. So this Blue Blood palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, I really, really like this one. The Jawbreaker palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, I absolutely love the formula in this one actually. And then I've got the Morphe Cross James Charles Big Palette with all the colours in it as well. So I'm actually going to keep these 5 palettes, and these are going to be my palettes that I use for when I do creative looks, and just ones when I am not using anything for the camera, then I can use these behind the scenes. But I think also these palettes are really good that I won't stress too much if I do, you know, accidentally ruin them or the colours get mixed up or muddy from using them so much when I do creative looks. Now I have lots of palettes here, so I can't put them all in view right this second, but we will go through them and I will show you each individual one. Alright, so let's start off with this one here. It is from Pat McGrath. It is doesn't actually say what name the palette is. But it's just this little quad palette. All of these are shimmers, but I do really like these shimmers. I just feel like as though it needed to be paired with mattes to make a decent palette, but I do like using this as an individual palette when I am pairing it with another one. Next one I have here is from Pure Cosmetics and Raw Beauty Christy. So this is the colourful side. As you can see, I have loved this palette to death. And then this is the neutral side. I haven't used this one as much as the other side, but I absolutely love the formula of this and I'm going to keep it. Now I do know that this is only meant to have like a 6-month expiry on it, but it still works perfectly fine in my opinion. The pigment is still really, really there, so I'm going to keep using it until I have any issues with it. So next one here is this Chella Palette. I got this in a Lumi box. This is in the Lovey Neutral Palette. Now, I'm going to declutter this one and pass it on to someone else who is more of a neutral person, just because I never reach for it, and I think for the price of this palette, I think it's going to waste sitting here in my collection. So I would rather it go to someone that will actually use it. So I'm going to get rid of it. I do like the formula. The only thing is the gold did crease on my eyes. But the rest of the formula is absolutely amazing. Next up, I've got this little Ulta Beauty one in Daydream. I'm going to declutter this one as well. I have used it a handful of times, but I just never reach for it either. And I think it's going to waste sitting there. So all of my palettes, well, all of my makeup, I do ask my friends and family if they want it first. If they don't, then I do give it to some local people that, you know, take it to either a domestic violence group, or they put it in our local community for people to take. I do normally spray it with alcohol as well just before I do give it away, just so then it is all sanitized. But I think someone else would love this more than me. And the next two palettes I have here are from the same people. It is W7. So I've got Soft Hues and I've got the Vivid. Now these are like dupes for Huda Beauty ones, and I do really like them, but it's not the best formula, unfortunately, and I just never reach for them. This one I was like obsessed with for like a few months there, so I did use it quite a bit. This one I've only used maybe once or twice, but it's just sitting there getting dust, so I'm going to declutter these two. Next one I have is this Milani one, and this is in the Bare Necessities Everyday Eyeshadow collection. I got this like back when I was very first learning how to do like really nice eyeshadows, and this probably one of my palettes that I've had the longest, but I never reach for it anymore. So it is time for this baby to go now. I have had it for years and I did use it lots. It had like a nice way of doing your eyeshadow on the back as well. I do love Milani's formula. It's quite old now. I reckon probably 4 or 5 years old. So time for this one to go. Next up I have this MAC one, and this was the Star Sighting Compact in Fuchsia. And I remember I got this when I had my makeup done and I had a credit to use there, and it was absolutely stunning at the time, but I now have better formulas that I would pick up over this one, so I'm going to declutter this one as well. Next up I have this Natasha Denona palette. This is the little mini 5-pan palette. This one is the Mini Love, and the formula isn't as good as the bigger Natasha Denona palettes, but I'm still going to keep this one because it is a good like travel friendly one, and it is still nice. It just didn't live up to the expectations. Next one I have here is this NARS palette. This is Lost in Luster, and I got this in a Lumi box. Now this is an absolute stunning palette to use on the go, because I can use this for my blush, my highlighter and my eyes. The only thing it doesn't have is a dark enough bronzer in there for me, but I do really like it for if I'm just, you know, limited with my space and I'm traveling. I really like to take this one along, and I could pair it with something like the Natasha Denona palette, and I've got like colour and neutrals there. This next one here is from Pat McGrath. I used this on one of my lives. This one is in Sublime, and this is more of like the neutral sort of shimmers. Again, it doesn't have any mattes in the palette though, so it's one that you have to pair with like a matte palette, but I am going to keep this for now. If I don't reach for it, I will declutter it next time. Next one here is from Bella Pierre Cosmetics, and it is their Brown Eyed Girl eyeshadow palette, and it is absolutely stunning. I do really love these colours. I do not like the glitter in this though. I feel you need a glitter glue to be able to use it. But again, it's one that's going to sit there and create dust rather than me using it. So I'm going to pass this on to a friend or family member that will get more use out of this than I do. Next one is from Focallure, and it is this Smile palette, and it is all yellows. Now, I haven't found another yellow palette that I really, really like, so I am going to keep this for now. But I am on the hunt for a pure yellow palette for when I do my endo awareness looks. I do wear a lot of yellow, so I would love to be able to have a really nice yellow palette, but nothing has come out better than this one so far. Next up is my girl Erica Beauty. This was "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" palette. So this was her collab with Glam Geo Lashes. I have used this to death already, and I've actually purchased another one as a backup because I really love the quality in this palette. I love how the red is a true red on me. I love using the shade Jackie as a blush. It is stunning, and the shade Cookies, they need to make like a single shadow of that. It is absolutely amazing. And then it's got all the pressed glitters down the bottom there, and they are absolutely stunning. So I'm definitely keeping this one, and as I said, I've already got a backup on the way because I do not want to run out of this. Next one here is from Huda Beauty, and this is the Mercury Retrograde. I actually got this from James Beauty Space, and I love and adore this palette. This is another one that I like to take when I travel because I can create so many different looks in the one palette. And it is nice and soft, or you can make it a bit, you know, more dark and smoky, or a bit more out there. I reach for this quite a bit, even if it is just to use one of the transition colors or one of the shimmers. So I'm definitely keeping this one in my collection. Next up is this Coloured Rain palette, which is Safari Rain. And I love this one in autumn. I love the colors that it is, the burnt orange, you know, those greeny colors. I use this so much. I think I've done a few reels using this palette as well, but I love the quality and the formula that these guys use, and I just love the color story of this. So I'm hands down keeping this. Next up, I have this one from Tarte, and it is the Love, Trust and Fairy Dust palette. And I think it's time for this baby to go now. I really don't reach for it anymore. I did get this back when I really did, you know, use these sort of colors, but now I've really, you know, branched out and I go for the brighter colors and everything, the more pigmented colors. So I think it's time to pass this one on. These three palettes here I'm going to declutter. These are from Colourpop, and this is the sort of pastel colors. So this is the Miss Bliss palette, the Aura and Out and Inner Trance palette. These are absolutely stunning. They are very pastel though. You cannot sort of pack it on to make them bright or anything, but you can see that I have definitely loved these palettes and I have used them quite a bit. I don't reach for them anymore, and as I said in one of my other palettes, I reach for something that's a bit more pigmented now, not these pastel colors. So yeah, I'm going to declutter them because it's time for them to move on to somebody that will actually get some use out of them. This next one here is from Millennium. It is the Bold Obsessions palette, and this I was obsessed with for so long, but it's time for her to go as well now. You can see I've like hit pan on this one, and I'm close to hitting pan on this one here. I love this to death. It stays pretty clean for how much I've actually used it. Milani is just such a good formula, and I do really love them, but I just don't reach for it anymore. This next one here is from Ciate London. This is the Editor Palette New England, and I got this in one of my very first Lumi boxes, and whilst I absolutely love it, I think it's sitting there and going to waste again, so it's time for this one to be passed on. It's also colours that don't really pull me in. Like, there's nothing super bright about these colours that, you know, make me want to use the palette. The formula is okay. It's not like the best formula out there, but it's not terrible either. It just doesn't draw me in to want to play with it. This next one here is from Zoeva, and it is this matte palette, and I've only used this like once or twice now, but I actually didn't like the formula in this palette. I don't know if it was just mine or not, but I found it very patchy, and yeah, I've only used it once or twice, and I just don't see myself reaching for it because I had to work so hard to get it to work. So I'm going to declutter this one as well. Next up, I have this ABH Modern Renaissance palette, and this is my oldest palette to date. I have had this for so long. It is also my go-to palette if I'm lacking any motivation, or if I just want like a simple glam look or a smoky look. I reach for this palette. Now, when this stops working, I will repurchase this palette because it is absolutely my favourite. I have hit pan in this shade, and I'm going to hit pan in both of these two as well soon, and maybe even this one. But I absolutely love this palette, and this is what originally got me started into makeup, is when my mother-in-law brought me this palette from America. So yeah, I absolutely love that. I've got a lot of memories attached to this palette as well, but I will definitely purchase it again when it stops working. This palette here is from Colourpop, and this one I actually created this myself, and I'm going to keep it because they do all still work at the moment, but I just got a whole pile of single shadows and I popped them in here to use. A lot of them are pressed glitters or shimmers. I've got a few mattes. I think there's 2 mattes there and 1 up here, but it's definitely a palette that you need to pair with others as well, especially like transition colours and stuff. But I'm going to keep it because I do still really like it, and there are a lot of colours in here that I do reach for still. These next 4 palettes are from Focalure, and it's time for these babies to go as well. And I absolutely love the formula of these. Nikkietutorials Joy is the one that originally got me onto Focalure, but I have had these for about, I want to say like 3 or 4 years now, and yeah, it's time for these babies to go. This is the Prague Palette. It is actually a really beautiful formula. Again, it's not the best formula out there. I can definitely say some of my other palettes work a lot better, but it's still really, really nice, especially for the price point. This is the Perth Palette. I think this one I used quite a bit because it has a lot of blue in it, and I do like the blue colours. This one's Turkey. Again, really pretty, and this one is Paris. Now this one is the one that I use the least amount, and I think it is because it's more like neutral colours. So I am going to see if a friend or family member wants to try and use them before I do get rid of them, but it's time for them to leave my hands and go to someone else now. Okay, so this is what we've got left out of this first lot, then I have another lot to bring in. Okay, so this first one here is from Mcgrath. Now this was the free palette that I got at the Sephora opening. I haven't had a chance yet to actually use this, so I am going to definitely keep it. It is worth quite a bit as well. I was considering putting it in a giveaway, but I do really want to give it a shot first. They are just a lot of shimmers, so they definitely need to be paired with another palette. Next one here is from Lorella, and it is the Wishing on a Star palette, and I absolutely love the formula of these. It is absolutely beautiful, so I'm definitely going to keep this palette. It is super, super pretty, and the formula is absolutely amazing. Next one is from Australis, and it's this Girl Boss palette. Now I'm not a huge fan of this palette. I can't even open it now. I'm not a huge fan of this palette. I did have to work quite a bit to get it to work for me. So I'm going to declutter it and yeah, pass it on to someone else that may want to use it. Maybe a beginner that can start learning with it. This next one here is from Pure Cosmetics. It is the Love Your Selfie 2 palette. This one has been very well loved. I actually got this from my mother-in-law, and then I used it a little bit as well. But it is very old now, and I just don't reach for it, so it's time for this one to go as well. Next one here is from Makeup Revolution, and I think I got this in a Lumi box as well, and it is actually a really nice palette. I do like the colour story. It is very like pink and sort of lovey-dovey. It would be perfect for Valentine's Day, but I have so many of these shades already, and I don't reach for this one purely because some of the other formulas work a lot nicer. So I'm going to declutter this one as well. So last 3 out of these, I'm going to keep all of these. This one is the ABH Jackie Einer palette. I do use the shades over here quite a bit, you can see, and Trust Issues. Shookington is actually a really nice shade as well, and same with Sponsored over here. I find I use this when I want more of like a dark smoky look, or like a grungy look. That's when I reach for this palette. But I did pay for this, and I do really like the formula, so I'm going to keep that. Next one is this Kylie Bible Cross ABH palette as well, and again I really love this palette as well. It's not one that I would reach for by itself. I do like to pair it with another palette. I do use a lot of the shade up here, and then the shimmers down there, and the red shade in here, but I do really like the formula, so I'm definitely keeping this one. And lucky last for this lot is this Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. Now I actually got this from James Beauty Space as well, and I really do like the formula of it. I like the shades as well, but as you can see, these are all pinks, so that's why I'm getting rid of a lot of the other ones, because I don't need so many of the same shades, but I'm excited to keep this one in my collection. And we're on to the last of the palettes now. So I'm just going to put these ones here for a second. Off to the side. First up, we've got this House Laboratory palette in Glam Room #1, and I got this in the Lumi box, and I do really like this formula, but I'm going to pass it on to someone else that I know is wanting this palette, just because I have some of the same shades in other palettes, and I think it will get more love from them than it is from me. Next is this Pure Cosmetics Soiree Diaries, and you can see this one has been loved to death. I got this from my mother-in-law, so she used a lot of it, and then I used it as well, and we really like the formula, but it's time for this one to be decluttered. Next is this Flower Beauty. This is the Nude Remix palette, and this was a really nice palette. Like, the formula is nice, but I don't reach for it. I don't like how small and skinny they are as well. I do prefer to get a nice, you know, big thick blending brush in there, but it would be a good palette for travel, but it's not something that I reach for, so I'm going to get rid of it. Next up is this Ulta Beauty one as well. This is the 4-piece eyeshadow palette. I think it was like a lavender collection or something, and these colors I just don't reach for, so I'm going to get rid of this one as well and pass it on to somebody that loves to wear purples, and see if they can get some use out of this. Next one is this e.l.f. Rose Gold Sunset palette. Now I absolutely love this palette. The formula is really, really nice, but I don't reach for it anymore, so it's time to let this one go as well, because it is just sitting there going to waste. Next up, I've got this Chichi Bronzers palette, and I can't even tell you how long I've had this palette. It's been so long now. I did like it, and it was one that I used for like work looks, but I do not reach for it at all anymore, so I will pass this one on to someone else who can get some use out of it as well. Next up is this Jaclyn Hill Ring the Alarm Cross Morphe palette, and this one I don't reach for. I'm not a huge fan of the formula of this one as well. I know that can be, you know, hit and miss with Morphe. This one, in my opinion, was a miss, so I'm going to pop this one in the bin. Next up, I've got this Model Rock Colour Playbook, and I absolutely love this, and the colors in this are quite unique, so I'm going to keep it. If I don't use it, then I will declutter it next time, but I do really like the concept of this palette. Next, I've got this Beauty Bay one, and it is the Book of Magic, and I got this from James Beauty Space as well. And I got to use this for the first time on my live with him on YouTube the other week. And yeah, this was a really nice formula. I preferred this formula over the Brights palette. So yeah, I really like this one, and I like the color story. I do like a lot of blues, and I do like the greens, and you know, it's got a black in it and everything. So yeah, I'm excited to keep playing with this one. Next up is this Chella Palette Cross Glamlight, and I have used and abused this one a lot. It is probably one of my favourite palettes to reach for. It has so many different colour stories in it. You could do so many different looks, and I absolutely love the shimmer formula from Glamlight. So yeah, I'm going to keep this in my collection, and no doubt I will have hit pan on at least a handful of them by the next declutter. Next one is this Beauty Creations Eye Bloom palette. I think I got this from a Lumi box as well. And again, I don't reach for it anymore, so it's time to pass it on to someone else. I'm having to be absolutely brutal with these because I don't have the room to store them all. I've only got 2 eyes, and I need to keep the ones that I do reach for and pass them on before they expire to people that would use them. Next up is this Tarte Sex Kitten palette. I actually really liked this as a travel palette for a long time there, but I've replaced it with the NARS palette now, so I'm going to pass this on to probably my mother-in-law because she's been eyeing this one off for a few months now, so I'll probably pass this on to her to see if she wants to use it. Next up, I've got this Ritzy Cosmetics palette. This is the Athena palette, and I really do like the quality of this palette, and I love how huge the pan sizes are, but I really don't reach for it. It is a lot of like shimmers, so I do feel you need to pair it with a matte palette. I mean, this one, and this one is matte, but I feel like you could, you know, put a lighter and a darker with it as well to make some more looks. So I'm going to pass this on to someone else who might use it a lot more than I do. This next one here is from MAC, and I got this quite cheap because it has a chip out of one of these shades. I think it was this one here, yeah. It's got a piece missing out of it. I have used this a few times, but I just don't reach for them because I find all the colours sort of blend into one colour. Like I don't get the different shades of pink that I thought I would get from this palette. So I'm going to declutter it, and maybe someone else can work their magic with it and, yeah, you know, enjoy it more than I do. This next one here is the Beauty Bay Cross Nikkietutorials palette. I have used and abused this palette as well. You can see I have almost hit pan. Actually, I've hit pan on the blue one, almost hit pan on Pride, almost hit pan on Ivy. I've got a little bit of hard pan going up over here. I love this palette as well, but I like it for its shimmers. The different colour mattes I do use every now and then, but I do tend to reach for different mattes and just use the shimmers out of this palette. But I do really like it, so I'm going to keep it in my collection. This next one here is from Lorella, and it is the Rockin Moroccan palette, and I reach for this quite a bit. I know I've done a lot of reels on Instagram with it. I think I've done some TikToks as well with it. I just love the formula of this and love how this one palette can create so many different looks, and the fact that it has so many different mattes as well as shimmers. I just love it. So I'm definitely keeping this because I do reach for it so often. Next one is this Model Rock Chick Volume 1 palette, and I'm going to keep this, but if I don't reach for it, I will declutter it next time. I have only used it the once or twice maybe now. I do like the colour story for being, you know, sort of a grungy sort of look, and I love the concept of this palette, but if I don't reach for it, then it will be decluttered next time. Okay, so next one here is the Colourpop Cross Raw Beauty Christie at Forest Sight palette. I don't tend to reach for this as much as I thought I would do, but I'm going to keep it because I do still like the colours in this, and a lot of the colours are quite unique. Again, this is one that, you know, sort of reels me in like autumn time or fall, if you want to call it that, because it is, you know, the grungy sort of colours, and that's when I am drawn to this palette. So I will keep it, but if I don't use it next time, then I will declutter it. Next one here is from Beauty Creations. It's the Hot Fire eyeshadow palette. This one I think I've used once and I have not reached for it again. I hate how small these little palette sizes are. You cannot fit a brush in there properly. You can't even really fit, you know, your little finger in there properly. And to be honest, the quality of it wasn't the best. It did come out a little bit patchy, so I'm going to declutter this one. This next one here is from Juvia's Place. It's the Nubian 2. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I only just got this in the mystery box, so I am going to keep it, and I'm hoping to use it on one of my next lives. The colour story actually really excites me, and I love how big the pan sizes are. I have swatched it, so if you want to see the swatches, then I will link the video above, but otherwise it's my Juvia's Place mystery box unboxing. I think I posted it in January 2022. And yeah, the formula is absolutely amazing, but I haven't tried it on my eyes yet. Next up, I have this She Glam palette. It's the Chill Track palette. And whilst I do really like the colours of these, I just don't reach for it because I have other palettes that have all these colours in it. So I think I'm going to declutter this one to someone else who may, you know, want to start dipping their toes into some colours because they are sort of lighter. I mean, these ones are a little bit darker, but the others can like be pulled off as a pastel colour. So yeah, I'm going to declutter this one. Okay, the rest of these I'm actually keeping, and I'm going to quickly go through them with you and tell you why, because they're all brand new to me. So first I've got my Natasha Jennerina Glam palette. I still do have it in its box. I have used it already twice or 3 times now maybe. But I keep putting it back in here just to keep it nice. I absolutely love this. I love the formula of it. It's so stunning, and I like that I can pair this with a really colourful palette. So I am definitely keeping this one. This next one here is Morphe Cross Manny MUA Glam Palette. This was on sale for like $10 or $15 or something, so I thought, why not, let's grab it. I have not had a chance to try it or even swatch it yet, so I will use this in an upcoming video, and if I don't use it, then I will declutter it next time. This next one here is the Manny MUA, or Luna Beauty should I say, Life's a Drag palette. So this is the original one, and I got this when James Beauty Space was placing an order. I added to his order, and I am super excited to try this. I love how it is colourful and neutrals all in one, and then you also have the 2 shimmers in the middle as well. So I'm super excited to have this to my collection. I can't wait to try this. I will definitely try it in an upcoming video. And then the last 3 palettes I literally have just gotten today, and it is from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. So I was waiting for them to come out with a sale because I have been seeing these, and my motto for this year is quality over quantity, and I've heard that the quality of these palettes are absolutely amazing. So to replace my, rainbow palettes, I thought I would grab these. So I've got the original Blends palette, which is absolutely stunning. I picked up the Surge palette as well, and I love how it's got like these neon colours in there, and then it's got like its pastels as well. And then I decided to grab the Dollhouse as well, seeing as they were on sale, and this is what the Dollhouse palette looks like. So I will definitely use these in an upcoming video for you guys, but that is all of my current palettes. So these are all my palettes that I am now keeping. I have 30 palettes here. They do range in size, like some of these are really small ones and some are big, but these are the 30 that I am keeping. Okay, and this is my box of palettes I'm decluttering. So there is currently 34 palettes in here that I'm decluttering, so I have culled by more than half, so I am super happy and proud of myself. This is a heavy basket. Now, as I said, I will definitely be giving my friends and family members a chance to grab some of these, and if they don't, then I do always take it to my local community, and they either give it to domestic violence survivors, or they do put it in our local community pantry for people to grab. Okay, lucky last category is all of my single shadows and my Super Shock shadows. So let's quickly go through these. I'm not going to swatch them all. I do need to kind of be a bit brutal though this time, because I'm keeping them all and I'm not using them. So let's see if we can get rid of some of these. Okay, so straight off the bat, I'm going to take some that I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to get rid of all of these Maybelline Tattoo cover eyeshadows. I was into these once upon a time, probably I think it was last year or the year before that I was into them, and I used them quite a bit, but they are starting to dry out now, and I just don't reach for them anymore now that I've learned how to use like liner, and I really am not sort of, a pop person anymore. So yeah, I'm going to declutter these 6. Next up, I'm going to get rid of this Ulta Beauty eye gloss topper. I just can't get this to work. I don't know how it's meant to look without your eyelids sticking together, so I'm going to get rid of it because I just cannot make it work. These 3 basic beauty single shadows I do really like for when I am traveling, and they are also really nice quality, so I'm going to keep those ones. These 2 Nude by Nature, again, really nice quality. This one is in Sunrise, a nice shimmer, and this one is in June. and it is like this really nice light one. I'm going to keep these as well. Now with these 5 here, if I do not use them before the next declutter, I will declutter them then, because they can't sit there and take up space if I'm not going to use them. Next, I've got this Sephora one here. I've only just recently got this and I really like it. It's in First Light. It's absolutely stunning. I love how this one comes out. So pretty. So I'm going to keep this one, and if I don't use it, I will declutter it next time. Okay, these 3 here are Colourpop Super Shock Shadows. That was the Raw Beauty Cristi Cross Colourpop. I do reach for these still quite a bit, so I'm going to keep these 3 definitely. Next one is Like a Butterfly. Let's give this one a swatch. This one actually is feeling a bit dry, so I'm going to declutter this one. This MAC one is really, really pretty. It's still really nice, so I think I'll keep this one for now. This Colourpop one is in Banana Daiquiri, and I reach for this one quite a bit because I really love this shade. It's super, super pretty, so I'll keep that one. I do also have my favourite Super Shock one is in Ice Dream. You can see I've hit pan on this. I think this is my 2nd or 3rd one of these. I actually keep this one on my desk because I like to use it as inner corner highlighter. I'm going to keep this Moonwalk one because it is a really pretty shade for autumn. I love the sort of duochrome colour that you get from it, so I'll keep that one. This one here is in Frog, and this is another one that I really like to use for inner corner highlight as well. Super, super pretty. Actually, it's feeling a bit dry, so I'm going to get rid of it because there's no point in me keeping products that are going to dry out super quickly. This one is in Dozing Off. I think this one, yeah, this one's feeling quite dry as well, so I'm going to get rid of this one. This one here is in Drift. It's a really nice burgundy colour. This one still works really nicely, so I think I'll keep this one too. This purple one I never reach for because I don't like purple, so I'm going to get rid of it. Sorry, that was in the shade Illusional. I think I might get rid of this one as well, Dream Lover. Yeah, that one's really, really chunky now because it is drying out, so let's get rid of that one. This one here is in Rest More, and this one's a purple too. I'm not going to reach for it, so let's declutter this one. This one here is in Thought Bubble. Yeah, that's all dry and cracked, so let's get rid of that one too. This one here is in Chase the Light. This one's still quite nice, so I'm going to keep that one. That's a really nice shade as well, actually. This one here I reach for quite a bit. It's Above the Clouds. It's a really nice green. And it's like a duochrome. It's like green but gold. Really, really pretty, so I'll keep that one. This one here is in Viola. This one still works really nicely. It does pull a little bit purple, but it does have, you know, sort of blue reflex and green and pink, so I will keep it for now. This one here is in Shook Up. This one works quite nice. This is like a really nice bronze sort of colour, so I'll keep that one as well. This one here is in Millennium. That one's gone all dry as well, so let's declutter that one. This one here is in Glisten. This one's quite pretty, but it is dry, so let's declutter. This one here is in Nocturnal. This one is actually quite pretty. Oh, it's all dry now. I would have loved to keep that one. It's a really pretty colour, but it is all dry now, so I will declutter that one. This one here is in Access. I've got glitter everywhere now. This one's actually really pretty and it still works really nice. I love, love, love how pigmented that one is. So I will keep that one. Lucky last 3 are these half ones. So this one is in Miss and Bliss. That's gone dry. Yeah, I'm going to have to declutter that one. It has gone dry, unfortunately. I do have, you know, other greens and stuff here that I can use in place of it. But it was a really nice green. This one here is in NYX plus Nox. No, this one's dried out. I did use this quite a bit before it dried out. The colours are absolutely stunning. But yeah, that's gone quite dry already. And the lucky last one here is Dawn plus Fawn. I don't think I've actually really reached for this one. Oh, that's a really pretty shade. Those are actually really pretty. I'm going to keep this one because it's not dried out and those colours are actually really stunning. So I will keep it. Okay, so this is what I have kept out of the single shadows. So these here are matte single shadows. Actually, those two are shimmers. That's a shimmer single shadow as well. And then the rest are my Colourpop Super Shock shadows. I do have the other one that is Ice Dream that's on my desk here because it is my favourite one. But that is what I'm keeping out of the rest. And then I am going to declutter all of these out of my single shadows just because they are dried out. So there's no point in me keeping them, and these ones because I don't use them. So I hope you enjoyed this declutter series. It was a lot of work. It was quite hard to get rid of a lot of items, but I knew that I had to because I just don't have the room in this house to have it all, and I really wanted to donate the items that I could before they expired. And yeah, I am super proud of myself for decluttering so much. This was the biggest one I have ever done, and it was the hardest one that I've ever done. But if you liked this series, let me know down below. I do normally do a declutter probably twice a year, but this is definitely the biggest one I have ever done. So yeah, if you liked today's video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below because it really helps me out. And if you're new, don't forget to join my family. Hit that subscribe button and change that notification bell to all so you don't miss any of my future videos. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.